let's get into it. Blue Beetle is here. This is a film from the DC Cinematic Universe, and I still have no idea how this film fits into the future of DC or how it wraps into its past. But Alan, tell us the story of Blue Beetle.
Story of Blue Beetle. So a long time ago, there was a scarab, I guess, from outer space that landed, and the Cord Corporation has had possession of it. I guess they lost it. Don't ask me about the lore of this. They found it, but it was under mysterious circumstances. Who is this? Victoria Cord, played by Susan Sarandon. She is running the company. Her brother once ran it and died mysteriously, and so she's at odds with her niece, who is Jenny Cord. And so I just saw last night, so I'm getting names down.
It's all good, man.
And so in an effort to not weaponize, kind of like Tony Stark, not weaponize Cord Industries, Jenny steals the scarab, passes it on to an acquaintance she made the day before in Jaime Reyes. He takes it off. The scarab chooses him, and he becomes the Blue Beetle. And now there's a race for the Cord Industries to get that scarab back. But the thing is, the scarab has infused itself with Jaime, and they have to kill him in order to get it back. And there you go. That's your movie. And what did I think of it? It's the saddest thing about this movie is it's bookended. It's in a field of very bad, mediocre superhero films. And so I feel like this movie, we would probably think it was a lot better had the movies surrounding it been better. To me, this movie is bland but good. And I will tell you the main reason why it's bland. There's this idea called the hero's journey, where a hero has he's got to overcome an insurmountable odds, but he has a fatal flaw. And by overcoming that fatal flaw, he becomes a better person. He becomes, how did I put it here? He becomes, he becomes a better person and learns something about himself. In a way, it's how we relate to these characters. But in this character, Jaime Reyes is essentially, he's a good kid from a good family, and this good family defeats evil. And that's essentially the theme of the story. And to me, that's, it's good for a Disney Channel movie. It's not good for a cinematic movie. And I'll also say this, this movie should appeal to young kids, to the younger set. But because of the violence is okay, but because of all the dick jokes and the swearing, you're now excluding families with small kids to see this movie. And I think this movie, had you removed a lot of the dick jokes and stuff, it would have, you broaden your audience by allowing kids to see this movie. It's okay. It's a nicely done movie. I think the budget was perfect for it. And like I said, had you just removed the dick jokes and the swearing, I think you would have a profitable movie on your hands. Right. So that's my thoughts about this.
All right. Well, thank you for going over the story, Alan. I'm going to start with the good, because there are some good aspects to this film, although I 100% agree this is good but bland. Here's the good parts. Xolo Maridueña is very good. Mm-hmm. I loved him in Cobra Kai. He's the highlight of Cobra Kai, and he is incredibly likable and relatable. Home run, A+ on the casting, and you're going to see, regardless of what happens with Blue Beetle, the character or the whatnot in future DC, Xolo has got a bright career in front of him. Quite enjoyed him. The other thing I enjoyed, the family dynamic, and I'm going to speak very positively about this. The family dynamic, and you see this in films with any film with Latino culture is very, very much family based. Mother, father, siblings, uncles. They're very, very, those parts got me. I thought that really worked, the family dynamic. It's not just the origin of Blue Beetle, it's this family that is at odds with the antagonist, played by Susan Sarandon. So I really, really love the family dynamic. It also made me think, I mean, you see, and you've seen it often in Latino cinema, strong family dynamic and an intact family. We rarely will ever see an intact white family, an intact black family. You know, they didn't race swap, like the dad is this or whatever. And I kind of find like, I was like, I loved it. I love the family. It's like, why can't that happen with other types of families? Why can't you have that kind of dynamic? You know, it's like the only intact family that you actually see, you know, in movies are Latino families. I think that says a lot about how much that is such a value. I don't know that this movie would do as well or be as likable without that. So the family was great, including the sister Mila Reyes. I thought she was very funny, good comic relief. Those are the things that I liked the best about the film.
Let me add one more to that. We've talked about this romance.
Yes.
There's romance in the movie.
Yes. There is romance. There is he going to get the girl? Is he not going to get the girl? There are a lot of traditional values in this that you don't see in other films. And also the other thing that I did like about the movie was the positivity. It's very positive in spite of struggles that the family is going through. At the beginning of the movie, we see that they're losing their house. You know, they're together as a family. The only thing that matters is they are together. Xolo, the family dynamic, all of those things I really love. Now let's get into the problems. The Blue Beetle as a character, which I am not a fan of a superhero that is created by, I found a thing and now I'm a superhero. Like, oh, I found a ring that shoots out green lasers. I'm a hero. You know, I found this. I'm a hero now.
Someone mailed me bracelets.
Someone mailed me bracelets in the mail. I'm a hero now. Oh, I got these other bracelets or the 10 rings. I'm a hero now. I don't like a superhero origin that is sort of dependent on I found something. The other thing is they try to do this kind of Iron Man dynamic where he talks to the Scarab, which is what's the Scarab's name? It's like Cola or something. It's there's a I forget the name of it.
Kajada?
Yeah, something like that. He's always talking to, but he's had odds in it. It's like he's just in the suit, and the suit is doing all the superheroing, at least at the beginning, and he's not. And the other thing is you've got, you know, this very likable, attractive actor, Xolo, and you don't see his face for most of the movie. And what I realize is there are scenes where he's in the Blue Beetle costume and you see his face. It matters. It's not just some sort of like Power Rangers thing where you don't see the reaction. When you see his character, Jaime Reyes, like react like fear and anger and just like determination, it means something, and it's sort of annoying to watch just this faceless thing. It's why
he's screaming through most of the action sequences.
He's screaming, but like in the end, there's some scenes, this isn't like a big spoiler thing, but you see his face and he's in the costume, and it meant more. It meant a lot more. Why hide this guy's face? So I don't know. I'm sure that would have changed the Blue Beetle or whatever, but I think it meant a lot. But this movie on the negative side just felt like Spy Kids to me, because a lot of the humor was very based. It felt very super simple. Susan Sarandon is playing Hillary Clinton as a villain. She is literally Hillary Clinton. It's ridiculous. It's so dumb.
I'm sorry, there are politicians watching this live stream, and you've insulted every single politician.
Yes, I've insulted politicians who are phony and effectively actors. And if politicians want to super chat, feel free. In any case,
well, that's why you brought it up. The first half of the movie is just the suit doing things for him. So he's not, again, the hero's journey. He's not learning anything. He's just kind of the host of this symbiote. And when you talk about, what was the overall message of the film, how did they ultimately defeat the bad guy? The theme was basically, my family is better than your family.
That's it.
And I'm, as good as that is, and as much as we want to promote family in movies nowadays, it's not that's not how you beat bad guys.
Well,
there is that personal journey that we all connect with.
Well, this movie gets. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's just, this is, I guess Luke Skywalker would be the ultimate version of the ultimate idea of what that hero's journey is. Someone who has to overcome odds to win out in the end. And this one just didn't have that. It was, hey, the family's working together to beat the bad guy. And that's your story. That's your story.
But it's this movie gets points for me because of the strong family dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a scene with Jaime and his father that got me, that I thought was very powerful. Toward in the third act. I'm not going to ruin it, but it's a scene between him and his father. I thought it was very good. I thought it was really good in sort of a mixed bag of, this felt like it could be a Disney Plus show, or it felt sort of Spy Kids, and it felt Spy Kids mainly because of the gadgets, all the gadgets from Ted Kord. They kind of use Ted Kord is, I hope this isn't considered a spoiler from people, but he's a presence. You actually get to see the old classic from the 80s Blue Beetle costume is in there. Ted Kord is not in the movie, but he was a previous Blue Beetle, trying to backwards engineer the Scarab, and couldn't do it, but from that was able to build all these like fun gadgets that existed. So he is acknowledged as being a hero from the past, and Jaime is the hero of the present. He's the Blue Beetle.
I'll be honest, when that was brought into the movie, that's when the movie picked up.
Right. But middle of the film, they go to his lair. Jenny Cord takes him to the lair. But like, the movie gets points for like, hey, like, it's not like they were trying. And I say they didn't they didn't make like Rudy Reyes, which is George Lopez's character. They didn't make him like gay or like, you know what I mean? That sort of pandering stuff that Marvel.
And the context of the line everyone hates is now brought into the picture. It's like, okay, now we understand where that line comes from and why he said it, which, whoever did the trailer needs to be fired.
Right. But that was funny. It was funny. And by the way, there is a cut scene. Can I tell you this? Okay, it's not a spoiler because it's not in the movie, but I was told by someone who saw a 3-hour version of Blue Beetle, there's a cut scene. It was like a mid-credit scene where Rudy Reyes, which is the uncle that uttered the words, "Batman is a fascist." He, in a mid-credit scene, he gets a phone call, and he says, and it's Ben Affleck Batman voice, and he says, "So I'm a fascist." Cut from the movie.
How would Batman have known he said that?
Well, that's exactly right. It was just meant to be a joke, but it was a mid-credit scene that was cut from the film. So make of that what you will.
Well, one thing I'll add is, okay, so I'm not Latino. I know very little about Latino culture in any way to make me say anything with authority. But I will say, I feel like, look, I like Shang-Chi. I liked Shang-Chi a lot. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that as a Chinese American, it was very familiar to me in terms of the cultural things that were brought into that movie. Even the ending, the weird land they went to, you see all these weird creatures. Look, I've been to a lot of Chinese banquets, and these weird creatures live, we see them in our banquets, the lion dancing, the dragon dancing, and it was right there. And it was just like, wow, whoever, Shang-Chi at least got the culture right. And just to go on a limb here, I feel like, maybe the same feeling for Latino community is felt with Blue Beetle.
Yeah, well, I do know that like Paulie from Latino Slant is very high on this film. He loves it. And I think if it got Latino culture wrong, he would have noticed. It is a fictional city. Like the movie takes place in this fictional city, because I'm like, wait a sec, is this taking place in Mexico?
Palmera City.
Yeah, Palmero City. It's a totally fictional city that's sort of a slightly in the future, maybe a few years in the future version of this city, maybe 5 years in the future, kind of feels like, from the technology. But a lot of this just felt very Spy Kids, very like, I mean, the action, there's some decent action sequences, but a lot of the stuff is just sort of like dumb, like especially with regard to Susan Sarandon's character. She's just a completely one-dimensional villain, and all I could think was, I got like super Hillary Clinton vibes from her, like an evil Hillary Clinton. And make of that what you will. Just like everything about her was totally cartoonish, and and then she has this sort of heavy that ends up being like a main villain with a twist. I won't get into it. We're not going to talk.
But you can figure it out.
You can figure it out. But I mean, overall, if this movie is, it's just sort of mid-tier. And I even said, like, I don't know how well this movie is going to perform, but I'll say this: even if it's good, I don't know that, like, if it's considered good by most people, I don't know that that's enough to have it do well at the box office. I just don't know, because there is that fatigue, right? Like you can mock that term all you want. It's real. We have seen these stories before, which is why when I'm hearing the dialogue, I'm like, I've heard this in a million other movies. It's the scientist, it's this, we're on you know what I mean? It's like almost none of the situations that occur in this film haven't already been done in previous films. In a way, it's like a human version of AI, in the sense that we're seeing these scenes play out that we've seen many times before, in other movies. The evil head of the corporation, it's like, well, what? I mean, it's not, the originality is not this film's strength. And a lot of people have even compared the suit and the way it works to Guyver. Another film, a film where the costume itself is the host, or Venom. This is sort of like, good Venom, I guess. But overall, I kind of walked out saying, I can't say I didn't enjoy parts of the movie, but I didn't love it. I was not completely in love with it. But I was in love with aspects of it, which were the family dynamic, strong father-son relationship, and romance. What's missing in modern movies today? Romance. Although I thought the romance was played pretty junior high, which is fine. But yeah, you're right. It seemed there were like a couple, like, because the one thing about Jaime Reyes, like every time he puts the suit on, it burns his clothes and his shoes off. So when he comes out of the suit, he's completely naked every time. And it's just weird. So, yeah. I mean, you put it, you hit the nail on the head, Alan, when you said that, like, look, how is this going to appeal to families with young kids? I don't know. When you've got, like, is all the nudity, and it's all suggested, everything's handled very, it's handled in a joking manner, right? But you can only have so many dick jokes and boner jokes. And some of the violence, like towards the end of the movie, I don't want to go into detail, but some of the stuff is graphic, where people are being, I mean, not bloody, it's not blood, it's bloodless violence, but you've got people being stepped on and crushed and stabbed, and like people being murdered. I mean, I guess they're justified because it's the good guys versus the bad guys. So the faceless bad guys, faceless minions, are being slaughtered and murdered and killed. And that's fine. But Jaime even says, like, I'm not going to kill. I'm not going to kill. But other people do.
Yeah. People, that was the weird thing. He goes, I don't want to kill. I don't want to kill. And then you see people getting killed.
You see a lot of people getting killed.
But by 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 members of his family.
Members of his family just murdering. And another on the positive side is Nana, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Nana is his Nana that
could have been done so wrong.
I liked her.
Yeah.
She has this dark past. So she has this machine gun and she's like very excited about that. And she's like planning. She's just sort of the innocent Nana. And then she comes out of her shell. So it's a mixed bag. They're like things I really liked about it. And then it's sort of it's superhero Spy Kids. And there you go. Yeah. So I don't know. I would rate it probably a 6.
Yeah, I'd put it around
6.
there.
Put it around 6, maybe 6.5. But
look, if it was made for $150 million, congratulations. That's to me, that's how superhero movies need to be. That's the budget superhero movies need to have. You know, it has a shot at making money now.
Yeah. So let's so there you go. 6 out of 10. And better than I thought it would be. It's actually better than I thought it would be, but it's because my expectations were so low. I think that audiences, I'm curious to see how audiences respond.
Yeah. I'll only add that you should be able to take kids to this movie, and you may not want to.